There's this big outcry about this viral video of United Airlines connection flight passenger being forcibly drugged off of the plane. And it's getting a lot of attention, apparently, who was a doctor, and you can see bruises on his face. It's really gruesome. My first point about this is anytime someone is forced to do anything by the police or by law enforcement, it looks ugly. It's gruesome. Your heart goes out to them. It's like, gosh, you don't want to see that happen to your sister or your mom or your friend or your coworker or anybody you care about. It is a gut-wrenching thing to see law enforcement force an adult to do anything. It's gut-wrenching when you have to force a kid to do anything. I've seen situations where a kid has to be forced to take a pill and they're like, it takes 2 or 3 adults to hold down this 4-year-old to force them to do something they don't want to do. And that's just tremendously amplified when it's an adult and it's a public situation like an airplane. In fact, historically, that's why collective public punishment fell out of favor in criminal justice in the United States. Because you remember, if you read history, like for example, when Puritans colonized the United States, they needed to discipline someone. They'd put them in the stockades in the center of the town and let people throw apples at them, and it would be a big shaming. Or hanging is a form of collective public punishment. Lynching is a form of that. And that fell out of favor ultimately because it created too much sympathy for the victim. Some people in that crowd would be like feeling uneasy. They'd be, oh, I don't know, I don't want to see a person suffering like that. And so it moved behind closed doors. Michel Foucault writes about this in his book, Discipline and Punish, a very famous book if you want to read up on that topic. So that's my first point. It looks ugly whenever the police and law enforcement do anything like this. Point number 2, it seems like this guy is really freaking out and having a conniption. This guy, whatever he is going through, any person who's acting like that does not seem like someone who is ready to fly on a plane. Maybe he's acting that way because he was treated unfairly. I'll get to that in my third point. But, anyone who's just totally just gesticulating and very, very upset probably is not ready to continue on that flight. And I think we all go through things in situations in life where we are treated very unfairly, and you kind of have a choice when you're treated unfairly by a company or a work situation or whatnot. And it's kind of like this choice of like sanity or insanity. And I have this ticking in my head sometimes too, where it's like, okay, I feel really upset right now, and I know I can't win this battle, but I feel like freaking out. But it's like, no, I need to be sane. I need to keep a level head and stay cool. And it seems like this guy is definitely on the other side, making the other choice, falling into some type of insanity. Number 3, apparently the reason why this happened is that a United staff member needed to get from one city to another city in order for their flight schedule to work as an airline. And so this gentleman who had paid for his ticket got booted off the plane. And I didn't even know airlines could do that. That surprised me. I didn't know that was a thing. It seems like a very unfair thing to me. I have flown many, many times in my life. I don't remember being told in a disclaimer, oh my goodness, your seat could be rebooked because we have personnel who need to take your seat in order to move them around the country. Maybe that's in the fine print somewhere and I just haven't read the fine print, but that does seem like a legitimately unfair situation. I don't think that this guy reacted in the best way to what would be that unfair situation, but it does seem like there is a real beef there in terms of the company treating him unfairly, or at least a lack of transparency to that extent. My fourth and final point is just a general reflection on the airline industry. It's always seemed to me like the airline industry acts is a very low margin, penny pinching type of industry. By low margin, meaning low profit margin. Some industries are naturally low profit margin. For example, if you operate a grocery store and it has a 3% operating margin, that's great. That's tremendous. If you operate a law firm that has a 3% operating margin, then you probably need to get into another business. But so the airlines have always seemed a little bit prone to gimmicks and penny pinching, and I've always wished that airlines were a little bit more transparent. I wish they were more transparent with regard to pricing, how they do this thing now where it's $25 to check a bag and extra hidden fees. I wish they just incorporated that into one flat price and were honest and transparent in that way. I also wish that pilot pay was better. I was looking at an article that talked about the actual pay that pilots receive, especially on these regional commuter jets, these short haul flights. Sometimes they're not making more than 15, 20 bucks an hour. And I would expect someone who is flying a plane with dozens or hundreds of passengers to be being paid more money than that. And honestly, some of them are really not wealthy people just kind of scraping it together and still entrusted with a tremendous amount of responsibility. Next time I'm flying a commuter flight, I might just toss a tip at the flight attendant, the pilot, somebody, be like, yes, please pay these people. I'll pay extra. I'll chip in. Like, just get me to where I'm going safely. So I think that's a whole other issue with airlines. And yeah, I guess that's my general reaction to this situation that is happening with United Airlines. Give this video a thumbs up if you want to hear more reflections on current events. My last video, I talked about Syria. I hope that you are all having a fantastic week, and I will see you soon.